Hello, I'm on episode number 380 of the TEW 288 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for week 4 of June 2023, and it is the first show since Money in the Bank, and be on our road to Evolution and to King of the Ring at the end of, not the end of next month, a third week of next month. And yeah, tonight we're going to kick off, we started off the Raw side of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments on Raw. And tonight we've got the SmackDown first matches. First two King of the Ring matches will be Seth Rollins against Dolph Ziggler and Bronson Reed against Matt Riddle. And then for the Queen of the Ring side, we've got Asuka versus Utami, and Liv Morgan versus Tiffany Stratton. As well as we are in Anaheim, California, the home of the Women's World Champion Candice LeRae, and she's having a homecoming here tonight. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's show. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams kick the show off. Hayes still the World Heavyweight Champion, defending against Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank in London. And he says, "What did I tell you? Last year I told Seth Rollins face to face here last week that the reason why he ain't the World Heavyweight Champion, why he didn't become Mr. Money in the Bank last year, is because of me. And I didn't plan on him taking my title a year later, and here we stand, and once again I hold another big victory over Seth freaking Rollins. And now he's in King of the Ring, okay? He's in King of the Ring. I ain't got a deal with Seth Rollins, so I gotta look ahead. Melo's eyes, I'm looking all around, and I'm looking at ops every which way. I'm looking ahead. I see guys like Seth still. I see Pete Dunne, the new United States Champion. I see guys like Dolph Ziggler. I see LA Knight. I see all the guys in the King of the Ring. But it's not just those guys in the King of the Ring that I see. I look up and down the card. I see guys like KO, Sammy, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. But it's not all these people need to know if you're going to step up to the King. And if King of the Ring does happen to be from SmackDown side, trust me, you ain't the King, I am. Because I have this. This is more valuable than any plastic crown, any plastic scepter you can get for winning that tournament. Okay? But if you're going to step to me, you best not miss, because I damn sure won't. Out comes Damian Priest. By himself, because Dolph Ziggler's got a King of the Ring match later on tonight, so it's just Priest. Says, "Look, I'm out here all by myself. I know what you're thinking, Priest. Where's your posse? Where's the rest of the grand jury?" But you see, Dolph Ziggler, DZ, he's got them occupied in the back because he's got a King of the Ring match later on tonight. And if old DZ is getting himself an opportunity to try and become the champion by winning this tournament, I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion. So Melo, I'm looking at you now, and I'm calling you out face to face. You're looking at the most dangerous man here on SmackDown. If you want to defend your championship against the very best and prove you deserve to hold that title, you defend it against me. Ilya Dragunov then erupts. And he goes, Damian, please do us all a favor and shut your mouth before I come in there and shut your mouth for you, because you got one thing right, Priest. You are a badass, but you called yourself the most dangerous man here on SmackDown. Well, you weren't looking at the Shah. Okay? Money in the Bank didn't go my way, but I made sure to leave my mark on everybody in that match. And what's next for me is another shot at that World Heavyweight Championship. Because you remember Gunther was unstoppable with that champion, but guess who took him to his limits? Me. At WrestleMania, at the Elimination Chamber. If I get one more shot, Melo, I'm not gonna miss. And then Trick steps forward, like, you talk your talk. You see, I look around here, I see 2 challenges. I see Damian Priest. He's got a lot to speak about. He's coming out here running his mouth. I see Ilya Dragunov coming out here running his mouth. Figured he's the badass motherfucker here on SmackDown. But let me tell you, that ain't about it, because Carmelo Hayes, the World Heavyweight Champion, he's the baddest motherfucker here on SmackDown. That's about it. So, here's what we're going to do. Tonight, Damian Priest of the Grand Jury, Ilya Dragunov, 1-on-1. The winner of that match will face Carmelo Hayes for the World Heavyweight Championship next week here on SmackDown. So tricky making a match. Priest and Ilya go 1-on-1 later on tonight. And the winner will, I guess, face Carmelo Hayes next week for the World Heavyweight Championship. But our opening match is Queen of the Ring first round. Also gets a 94. I knew this would be a bang, that's why I had it be the opening match. You gotta say, on paper, 2 of the favourites to win the whole thing. Asuka and Utami. Based on the ratings they score. But Utami has been a bit of a slump recently. And that continues, because in 1934, Asuka submits her with the Asuka lock to advance to the SmackDown semi-finals of the Queen of the Ring. I think she'll face the winner of Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley. That son of a bitch Bayley, who we will see later on tonight. 89 Asuka, 84 Utami, 94 for the match. But yeah, Utami, bounce in the first round. That's not a good look. We then see Kayla Braxton's backstage as one of my guests at this time. He is the new United States Champion, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne walks in, and Kayla goes, Pete Dunne, in your home country, England, last Sunday night, you defeated Swerve Scott, ended his run as the United States Champion. How did it feel to you? He goes, Kayla, I'm not normally one to show a lot of emotion. I'm normally kind of composed kind of guy, but being in my country, on my island, defending my championship, that felt good. And when I tell you that felt good, that means that I'm on top of the world right now, Kayla. I beat Gunther, became the first English-born World Heavyweight Champion, couldn't quite get that title back. But I'll not stop looking at Melo, okay? And if Melo says he's looking at ops all around, he's got to look at the Bruiserweight. And then we hear slow, sarcastic clapping. And into the frame walks Karrion Kross. He goes, good job, kid. United States Champion. It's nothing to sneer at, A lot of people would kill to be United States Champion. Some of them quite literally. Talk about that son of a bitch, Tony D'Angelo. But, you listen here, kid. A guy like me, I held the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship at the same time, kid. So you got a lot to learn before you get on my level. Huh? I beat Goldberg. Who'd you ever beat? And Pete's like, Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, John Cena in my debut, Swerve Scott for the United States Championship last weekend. Karen's like, you watch your mouth, kid. Because while I am above that championship, I will take it if you keep making things personal. So trust me, you don't want to make things personal. And then Karrion backs away, and Pete Dunne sort of sneers at him as he walks off. Then come back to the ring. Bayley comes to the ring with a chair, and we'll hear from Bayley next. We cut to ads, and we come back and she's sat in the ring on the chair. And she's like, soaking in the booze. She's like, what? All I've heard for the past week is why, Bayley, why? Why would you stop your stablemate, Dakota Kai, your friend, Dakota Kai, from winning Money in the Bank? Ding dong, dummies, I didn't think you even liked her. Okay. Is it just everything I do is wrong? Okay, well, let's be real here for a second. Without me, Dakota would be floundering, okay? You saw the trajectory of her career when she lost that SmackDown Women's Championship. It wasn't pretty. But I took her in because we were friends, okay? I cared for her and for Cora, and I made this group. And we'd all grow together into the most dominant trio here on SmackDown, and that we did. But since then, because I lost my championship to Candice at WrestleMania, if I got another shot, I'd win it back, ding dong, all that kind of stupid shit. But ever since I lost that championship, it's almost like I'd lost power. Okay? And no, because nobody can rule over me. This was never a trio all on the same level. This was always about me. And because I couldn't get in Money in the Bank, Dakota, she thought, oh, don't worry, Bayley, I'll give you the Money in the Bank. If we all win, we all get to be Miss Money in the Bank. Ding dong, do I look like a charity case? Okay. I helped you. Last week on this very program, you pulled that Money in the Bank briefcase down because of me. Okay? My influence on your career extends not even 7 days ago. And then for you to turn around and say you don't want my help, you can do it alone because you want to see the world what the real Dakota Kai can do. Well, I showed the world what Dakota Kai can do by herself, and that's fall 20 feet off a ladder to the outside through a table. So, there was never any damage control. There's only one person in control here, and that's me. Because I asked her like to save her for Money in the Bank because she was so charitable and not condescending at all. Hey, if I win, damage control wins. We all win. No! That's not how this works around here. If I can't win, nobody can. Out comes Lyra, Bayley's opponent for Queen of the Ring next week. And she's like, I've not always seen eye to eye with Dakota Kai and Cora Jade, but Bayley, you've got to really learn to take a look at the mirror and think where your problems are from, because you always seem to think that the world's out to get you, when in reality, nobody likes you because, well, you're just obnoxious, you're rude, and quite frankly, you're just a bit of a bitch. But no matter, I see. Because you see, you're in Queen of the Ring, and Dakota and Cora, they're not in Queen of the Ring, okay? So, now is your chance to show the world that it was never about damage control, that Bayley was the one in control the whole time. Well, next week, when I beat you, then what have you got? Nothing. Okay? And Bayley's like, oh my god. Like, who asked you? Like, who invited you out here? Huh? Why don't I beat your ass right here? And she's like, no, save it for next week. We'll be fine. And Lyra leaves. We then got back to Owens and Sammy. We're in the back with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan having a chat, and it's basically just, we're going to do like chatting who's next for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Well, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been looking for those belts for quite a while, and next week there's going to be a 4-way tag team match. I think it's KO and Sammy against Solo and Jacob Fatu against Aussie Open, and I can't remember the fourth team. But there's a fourth team. And those 4 teams are doing a fatal 4-way. The winning team will go to King of the Ring in Rome to face Cesaro and Daniel Bryan for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So, if KO and Sammy won them, now's their chance to get them. Oh! I did not expect this to do this good. Bronson Steiner against Matt Riddle in King of the Ring gets an 86, even though it only goes 9 minutes and 51. But it is, of course, Bronson Steiner advancing to the next round. He submits Matt Riddle with the Steiner recliner. 9:51. 87 for Riddle, 77 for Bronson. And yeah. Bronson goes on. I think he'll face the winner of LA Knight versus Swerve Scott next week. Yeah. And then after the match, he's kept the recliner on Matt Riddle. And Big Papa Pump takes the mic. He goes, look at this. Okay. This man right here should be Mr. Money in the Bank, okay? If it was a regular-ass match instead of a stupid-ass ladder match, this man here, my nephew, Bronson Steiner, would be Mr. Money in the Bank right now because he'd have whipped everybody's ass, okay? But now he's in King of the Ring. And now, he's 15 other men, he's their problem. And I see them all dropping like flies already because they're scared they got to get into the ring with the badass Bronson Steiner. And next time he gets in here in 2 weeks' time when he faces the winner of Swerve Scott or LA Knight, that'll be them getting put down by my badass nephew, Bronson Steiner. Because I've done the math, and this man is the next king of the ring. We then see Pierce in his office, and in walks Paul, a rather smug-looking Paul Heyman. He goes, I've just got off the phone with some very, very important people here in WWE, Adam. And quite frankly, it's a phone call that concerns you and your roster here on SmackDown, as well as Dave Batista and the rest of the roster on Monday Night Raw. Okay. And Pierce's like, well, well, what is it? What was it about? And he goes, oh, no. I'd be a fool for divulging that information at this moment in time, but trust me, Adam. This whole SmackDown and Raw thing, it's gonna look a lot different around here. Very, very soon. And Heyman walks off, and Pierce is like, what the? Okay, what's he cooking? Florence comes to the ring, Miss Money in the Bank, getting cheers, chants, you deserve it. And she's like, guys, calm down, it's fine, Yes, I do deserve it, and that's why I have it, okay? When I came here, about 3 years ago, I wasn't supposed to be anything. I was a body put on NXT UK, okay? Because we needed women for that show. And then, I thought I was gonna stay there. That was gonna be my claim to WWE fame. Would be that I was a star of NXT UK that petered out. But when you want something, as much as I wanted something, you reach out and you grab it. So, I have a lot of people I can owe this to. Of course, one being William Regal, the man who brought me here to the main roster. And the rest of the Regal Coalition. Of course, Triple H. All the people like that. My family. But there's only one person that I have to thank for this. And that's myself. Because if I start believing at any point, I never would have gone to London, my home country, 70,000 people, and earned myself a chance to become Women's World Champion here in WWE. And trust me, I'm not going to take this for granted, okay? I know Montez Ford and the men's case, that was a whole weird situation, but I earned this. I fought off 7 of the toughest women in this industry to get this. So it's not just my neck on the line when I have this championship opportunity, it's all 7 of theirs. So when I cash this sucker in, you bet your ass you're looking at the next Women's World Champion. So Sasha Banks, Candice, whoever may be the champion at the time, I'm coming for you. And I will not stop till I take your head off and take your championship. Ruby Riott interrupts. She's like, oh my god, guys, look at it. Look who it is. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miss Money in the Bank. Yay. Florence. Oh, come on. You're a joke. Okay, I thought you were better than this. You came up, like you said, you came here. William Regal, the Regal Coalition, and you were this badass. Not to be taken lightly, because you could tear someone's head off with a moment's notice with that damn lariat of yours. But you're out here giving sob stories and thanking yourself and the crowd. Well, what have these people done for you? Okay? The only reason you won Money in the Bank is because I was not in it. Okay? And I've been carrying dead weight for a while now. But that stops right here, right now. Because if you're Miss Money in the Bank and you're the uncrowned Women's World Champion like you say you are, I'm gonna beat the uncrowned women's world champion. And Florence is like, well, okay, then let's have a fucking fight, bitch. So, yeah, we get Florence and Ruby. Oh my god, it gets a 90. I'm so glad that... I'll get to that in a sec. Yeah, I'm so glad that I am keeping Ruby now. But, yeah, Florence defeats Ruby in 11:45 with the rain flow. 88 for Florence, 74 for Ruby Riott. As I just said, you heard a lot that when Toni Storm's contract was coming up, that I was gonna let her go to AEW. And I remember when I said that, at the time, I also said that like Ruby's contract had like a couple of months left on it, and I was gonna let her expire and leave as well. I think I've changed my mind on that because, well, Ruby she's doing some good work in real life, and I was like, I actually could find a role for her on my show. And that 84 rated promo when this 90 rated match validates my decision. So basically, she's saved her job with this performance here tonight. Yeah, but Florence does, of course, win. Just a big banger win for Miss Money in the Bank. Because we didn't see Montez fall on Raw, because who knows what the fuck's happening with him. But, you know, Florence is at least here and proud to show her face. We then cut backstage. Morgan and Hams are chilling with Val and Henley. And they're doing, you know, DKE stuff. Mukbangs for Hams' YouTube channel or whatever. Well, in Storm Chase You. And Shane Reynolds points. He goes, "That's the girl." And he's pointing at Fallon. She's like, "Me?" And then Andre approaches. Goes, "Miss Henley, good evening to you." I imagine the situation is like, he's got his tie around his head, and he's got war paint on his arms, under his eyes, and he's got a Chase You jumper, but the sleeves are cut off. And he goes, "I hear that the witches, Alba Fire, Iona Webb, live in your bar." And she's like, I mean, I don't know if they still do. Like 6 months ago when these girls got trapped there and kidnapped by those witches. Yeah, they were there then, but I don't know if that's where they still keep living. And Andre Chase goes, "Well, can you point us to the directions of this place? Because our fellow student here at Chase U has been kidnapped by the witches, and we need help to get her back." And Fallon's like, "Well, I don't know if the land's been sold or not, but we don't own the bar anymore because, you know, it was won by witches." And Chase goes, "Just tell us where it is, Fallon, huh? Do you not give a fuck about the safety of your own colleagues here on SmackDown, huh? You're gonna let these fucking evil witches do whatever it is they do to poor captured students like her?" And Fallon's like, "Okay, I'm sorry. It's here. It's this address." And then Andre Chase goes, "Thank you. You know, maybe once we get her back alive, you guys, you do a ride in Chase U." And they go run off, "Chase U, Chase U, Chase U, Chase U." And Hams, I imagine, just watches them leave and goes, "Those guys are weird." And Morgan just turns to Hams, smiling, patting her on the head like, yeah. We then cut to Damian Priest and Gorilla. And Kayla approaches you like, "Damian, you know, a big World Heavyweight Champion opportunity is just one match away for you. All we're going to do is beat Ilya Dragunov here tonight. And I can't help but notice you're all out here alone." And Priest goes, "Like I said earlier on, DZ's got other plans tonight. But it doesn't matter. Because we only need one man here in the grand jury. And that's me. And Ilya thinks he's a badass. Thinks he's the toughest, most fearsome man here on SmackDown. We'll see." Then Priest's theme hits and he walks out for the match. Which also gets it. They don't click, but it gets an 86. Okay. But it is Ilya who wins. He pins Damian Priest with the Torpedo Moscow in 17:57 to earn a shot at Carmelo Hayes' World Heavyweight Championship next week here on SmackDown. 76 for Ilya, 80 for Priest. Again, that's a chemistry thing. And the match still gets an 86 in spite of that. So that's how you know you're looking at two great people here. But yes, to continue next week's stacked card, Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes will go one-on-one for the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown next week. Should be a banger. It probably would have happened in real life by the time I record that, because I'm slacking and it's happening in like 9 days IRL, so you can probably imagine what it will look like by the time it actually happens. We then take a trip to Paris. We see the Eiffel Tower, and then I imagine the camera shot is, because I don't think the distance is that big between the Eiffel Tower and Parc des Princes, because because I imagine like it's one like camera shot, like you're watching the Eiffel Tower and then it turns and we see like the stadium, because of course Evolution is in Paris, so that is where Evolution will be held. And then we pan out and the French Connection are stood there on a balcony or whatever. And he goes, Paris, le most beautiful sight on the planet Earth. Finally, host to le premium live event of WWE. Now, unfortunately, Monsieur David Mato et Idris Inofe et Malik Blade, we are not to be at L'Evolution. We will be at King of the Ring in Rome the day before. But you, Violette Mato, la princesse de French Connection, will be in Paris at L'Evolution. And you, Violette Mato, will do what La French Connection do best here in Francais, here in Paris. And that's do us proud as a nation. And Violette Mato, she like sort of like, imagine this, like nervously looks on at the stadium. Like, yeah, you know, it's sinking in now that, you know, if she gets on Evolution, she'll be performing in France. So you've got to get a nice French segment here with the French people. 70, sure. They have great chemistry, so I could probably run this back in the main event of WrestleMania in 10 years. It's the second Queen of the Ring match, and it is Liv Morgan who picks up the win over Tiffany Stratton in 11-13 with the Oblivion. 77 for Liv, 55 for Tiffany, 70 for the match, I guess is perfectly fine. But Liv with that victory puts her into the Never SmackDown semi-final for the Queen of the Ring. And interestingly enough, she will face the winner of Sonya Deville versus Hikaru Shida. So, if Shida wins against Sonya next week, the two tag team partners will have to face off against each other here in Queen of the Ring. And yeah, they've had tensions, but I think they're still on the same page after Money in the Bank. But we'll have to see, I guess, because they could end up facing each other. Who knows? Speaking of people who may have to face other people, out comes Bobby Fish. And he's bald head, of course. And he's still wearing his shirt, I beat Bray Wyatt, where's the lie, or whatever it was I wrote on it last week. And he goes, the injustice against Bobby Fish continues. And I mean, folks, where's the lie? Last week I was jumped and humiliated by a sore loser. By somebody you once thought was great in Bray Wyatt. Proved what he was to the world, and that's a coward who can't handle being beaten by the great Bobby Fish. And I mean, folks, where's the lie? So this week, guess what? Bray Wyatt is actually going to show up. Me and Bray Wyatt are going to have a match right here, right now. And I'm going to beat him with all of you people here in Anaheim watching. Where's the lie? So let's bring him out. Come out here. Stop being a scaredy cat, Bray. Bring your ass out here. Out comes Bray Wyatt, who gets an 11 rated performance. Bobby Fish gets a 53, and Bobby Fish wins in 1 minute 31 by submission. So obviously, this is just a fat guy in a Fiend mask. This isn't the real Bray. Yeah. And Bobby Fish beats up a guy wearing a Fiend mask. Makes him tap out to the fish hook in 1 minute 31 seconds. 53 for Bobby Fish, 11 for Bray Wyatt. And then I imagine he runs around celebrating like he's just fucking won the World Cup. Going, holy shit, I beat Bray Wyatt again. Where's the lie? God damn it, I'm unstoppable. Where's the goddamn lie? But of course, I imagine the Bray Wyatt logo does flash on the Titantron as well at some point. We then get an episode of Hard Hitting Home Truths with Nathan Fraser. He goes, hello, my name is Nathan Fraser, and welcome to Hard Hitting Home Truths. To say, Money in the Bank was a hard hitting home truth for me, because London, my hometown, and I wasn't on the show. But fear not, because we got a new Mr. Money in the Bank. Unfairly. But fear not, because we did have some British success on that show. Florence, the new Miss Money in the Bank, and Pete Dunne, the new United States Champion. Now, I hear that the United Kingdom may be in the market for a new monarchy. Charles, eat your heart out, I say. And I hear that that vacancy may be occupied soon, because there's only going to be one true King of England, and that's going to be Nathan Fraser. Because I'm in this King of the Ring, and next week I've got my opening match against Angel Garza. Now, Angel Garza appears to have his head in a lot of different places, because he's been stalked and followed by a creepy Mr. Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis back in WWE after a year away. What does he want? You know, what's his problem with Angel Garza? Garza seems to know what his problem is. But I know what his problem is. I know what Garza's problem is. His problem is going to be next week. And this is a hard-hitting home truth. He's going to be beaten in the King of the Ring because his head's not in the right space. And Nathan Fraser will take one step forward to becoming king. And then we fade from that to an Angel Garza promo. And he's like, is he behind me? Is he behind me? And then all the MILFs are like, no, he's not, honey. He's fine. It's fine. He goes, you know, of all 16 men in this tournament, there's only one handsome enough to be royalty. Only one irresistible enough to carry a crown and a cape and a scepter. And that's me. Because you see, once I become king, and I get that power over this kingdom on SmackDown, my white whale shall be mine. And then we fade from that to the Hit Row studio. Swerve's in the chair, and he's pissed off. He goes, congrats, Pete. Congrats, Pete. I truly do applaud you, okay? Because you got the hometown crowd on your side, you managed to get one up on old Swerve. And trust me, once I do want to get that United States Championship back, I'm getting it back. That's a guarantee. Because this is Swerve's world, and you're renting my house right now. And the whole show will be my house, my world, my kingdom, you could say. When our Swerve becomes the king. He becomes the king. And all of y'all bow down to Hit Row. And if you didn't know, now you know. LA Knight, though, he comes out in front of the live crowd. Just like he did in real life in them segments with the four-way. He's the only person who actually comes out in front of the live crowd. Big LA Knight chant. Let me talk to you. Goes, now. You have heard from basically every single competitor in this King of the Ring tournament. And each one of them has given you great reasons why they think they're going to be the one to be king. Nah. Because let me tell you one thing. There's only one person in this whole tournament who's got the Kavorka to carry a kingdom. Okay? And it ain't Nathan Fraser. It ain't Swerve. It ain't Angel Garza. It ain't even Dolph Ziggler or Seth Rollins. It's none of those bums. None of those stupid dummies. There's only one person here on SmackDown who's got it all to carry this show. And he's a megastar. Because you see, ever since before WrestleMania, before that little man Carmelo Hayes even became World Heavyweight Champion, I've had my eyes on that little pipsqueak, okay? I've had my eyes on that little dummy, and now he's holding what I want. He's holding LA Knight's gold. And Money in the Bank didn't work out. But King of the Ring, this tournament right here, once I win this whole damn thing, Carmelo Hayes, he got nowhere to run, he's got nowhere to hide, and then at SummerSlam, his reign will come tumbling down. So let me tell you something, WWE Universe, I want you all around the road. Book your flights, get your planes over from LAX, wherever you're flying in from. Go to Rome next month, July week 3, and go to the modern day Colosseum to see the crowning of a one true king here in WWE, because that crown, it ain't got anyone's name on it but one man, and they're gonna crown the new king with everybody saying L.A. Knight, yeah.
Burn it down!
Seth Rollins' music then hits, and I imagine, like, obviously the scene is like finishes the promo, then burn it down. Seth walks out and he starts dancing. He's doing his entrance for his match with Dolph Ziggler, but him and LA Knight sort of like stare down on the ramp. And then LA Knight like takes his sunglasses off, like starts mouthing off to him, cutting a promo on him like off mic, and Seth just laughs in his face as they like cross paths. Knight goes to the back and Seth comes down for his match. Oh my goodness. So the match goes 21-59. They have great chemistry. Seth Rollins gets a 94. Dolph Ziggler gets an 89. The match, however, 99. The joint best match we've had in the entire save. The King of the Ring final last year, Seth was in, got 99. And of course the Mania main event got 99. Seth Rollins vs Dolph Ziggler, SmackDown, 99. But the man who wins and advancing to the SmackDown semi-final of King of the Ring is Seth Rollins. He curb stomps Dolph Ziggler in 21-59 to advance into the tournament. The tournament he lost in the final of last year when he was on his quest to get a shot against Roman Reigns. Will that be the same fate for Seth, or will he go one step further and take it all this year? We'll have to wait till Rome next month to find out. But that's next month. Next week, we have a stacked show. And yeah, starting with the two first round King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring matches we didn't see this week. Those being Angel Garza taking on Nathan Frazer. And the interesting thing about this match is the winner will face Seth Rollins. So of course Nathan Frazer has a win over Seth Rollins. So if they have to run that back, mentor against protege again, to see who win that time. But of course that's not the only match, because the megastar will be in action as LA Knight takes on Swerve Scott in their first round King of the Ring match. And of course we have the Queen of the Ring first round matches as well, those being Sonya Deville taking on Hikaru Shida. And again, what's interesting here is if Shida does pick up the win in that match, she would face off against her tag team partner Liv Morgan, and then from their tense face-to-face earlier on tonight, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria will go one-on-one in the first round of the Queen of the Ring, as well as we just learned earlier on tonight, Ilya Dragunov taking on Carmelo Hayes for the World Heavyweight Championship. Candice comes out, big cheers, because we are literally booked it, we are in her hometown. Like, not even area, like Honda Center is in Anaheim, and that's where Candice is from. So, like, I imagine her mum and dad are in the front row, the baby's in the front row, and she goes to hug them as she makes her entrance. She gets big cheers, banner that says "Welcome home, Candice," stuff like that. And she's like, "Whew. So, a lot of things different since I was last here, huh? You know, last time I was here, I wasn't really anything to write home about. But now, Anaheim's got a world champion." Now, before I get any further, I want to speak about Money in the Bank. I want to speak about Hikaru Shida and Liv Morgan. See, these two women have been gunning for my title for the last month and a half. And Liv especially, you know, she's been really at my throat. And those are two of the best women here in WWE. And Liv, you saw it earlier on tonight, she's advancing Queen of the Ring. She just got her match next week. I truly believe that if those two have to face off, whoever wins that match wins the whole tournament. Because, you know, as the champion, it's my duty to keep an eye on the division around me and what's going on around here. But of course, I just want to take this moment here in my hometown of Anaheim to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who believed in, you know, I was nothing special. I was just a girl growing up here, and then I blossomed into more than I could ever imagine. Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania main event, and like, it still doesn't feel real. You know, mom and dad and the baby are sitting front row. And it is a reminder of why I do this. If there's ever a day where I wake up and I think, man, I'm not feeling it today, I don't feel my best, it's these guys right here that keep that spark in me. So, thank you for your time, Anaheim homegirl. Just wanted to say thanks for all the support for the last 20 years. And here's to 20 more. Now comes Io and Cammy. And Cammy and Io get in the ring. Io gets in Candice's face. It's like, well, look who we have here. Look, Anaheim. It's Candice LeRae. Yeah, give it up for Candice, your little world champion from Anaheim, California. Candice, let me ask you something real quick. Do you feel good about yourself coming out here and straight up lying to the people of your hometown? Because that's what you've done, because you've come out here preaching that you're everything that you never thought you could be, but I mean, technically you're not actually far off from the truth there. Because I don't see a world champion in front of me. I see a fluke. I'm not exaggerating, you know, I'm not just saying things to get into your head. Every single defense since you became world champion, you've skated by the skin of your teeth, thanks to sheer dumb luck. Because Liv Morgan and Shida, they were butting heads. Utami, who knows what was going on with her? She was fighting her own inner demons. All of these women, Candice LeRae, they had your number. And if you want to talk about women who had your number, and they both just sort of turned to Io, and Io's just there grinning. She's like, let me run back to history here, okay? We have to thank you, because this version of Io Sky, this Joshi Ju, this version of Io Sky, she wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you. But you know, and I know, what happens when you two face off. And I can see it in your face. You're trying to act tough in front of your people. But Candice, you know why we're out here. You've seen Queen of the Ring. And there's just one very important little name missing from the bracket. There's one person. A person who banished Kairi Sane from SmackDown less than a week ago. Does that to a woman she once called her best friend. I can only imagine what she'll do to you. So Candice, our little friend, our old friend from the past, enjoy your time here in Anaheim, California. I advise you don't leave. Because hold that Women's World Championship tightly. Because for only 23 more days can your hometown say you have a world champion. Because they say there are 3 certainties in life, Candice. Death, Taxes, and Io Sky defeats Candice LeRae. See you in Paris, champ. '96 rated show. We take those. We definitely take those. No non-rated segment and a no non-rated match, along with the I think that's a minor segment that doesn't actually affect the show rating. But yeah, that's the end of this. Some important stuff planted on tonight's show. As we move on to, we actually have a new world cruiserweight champion. Scripps won the cruiserweight champion from Rey Mysterio last week on Velocity, and we have the first of the Scripps era, I guess, tonight. Velocity kicks off with a promo slash pre-tape. Like, I imagine Scripps doesn't cut like live promos. Like, he just narrates over like video montages and shit that have been edited. His voice like dubbed over. So obviously it's highlights of the match, him and Ray and Dominik helping screw Ray, and Scripps talking. And he goes, "When I first arrived here on Velocity, nobody knew who I was. And now, everyone knows who I am. My power is unlimited. My position, untouchable. And the Velocity Hour is ruled by me. Sincerely, Scripps." Opening match to 71. Dante Riossi picks up a win over Evan Bourne in 13-17 by submission. 61 for Dante Rios, 69 for Evan Bourne. And yeah, we're going to continue to try and just give Dante some wins. Don't immediately want to thrust him, Oni, and Gulak into a trios title match. But yeah, you know, we're giving him some wins. He's a nice Velocity guy. He's a place Timothy Thatcher. You know, things are looking up for him and the group as a whole, I guess. We then cut backstage, and it's like a digital exclusive. After the end of the best of 3 last week, Funaki, number 1 backstage interviewer on Velocity, is with both RKJ and Axiom. And Axiom's like, you know, I may have won tonight and won the best of 3, but I was in there with one of the best who took me to my limit. Offers a handshake. RKJ, of course, accepts the handshake. And we actually get a tag team match where these two are going to team up coming up next. And that match gets a 50. Again, the crowd doesn't care about these people, so the matches keep getting dinged. I probably should have remembered that and put them against people more important than the Daivaris. But they do beat the Daivaris in 30 minutes and 14. Axiom submits Aria Daivari. 65 for RKJ, 62 for Axiom, 51 for Daivari, 58 for Aria Daivari. And I'm kind of interested, like, how well these matches would do if they were in there with people they cared about. Because, like, they were getting, like, 55s against each other, and that was with the ding for it being a negative match. But the main event, Dirty Dom, is in action. He defeats Ari Sterling in 14 minutes and 5 seconds, apparently by submission. 76 for Dominik Mysterio, 79 for Ari Sterling. I believe I called him Ari Daivari. Yeah, Ari Sterling. I imagine it's actually Lasso from El Paso, I believe. I set as his submission finisher. But then after the match, him and Andy Nice grab a mic. And Dom goes, "Dad, you really thought this was over? After you took my title from me at WrestleMania? No. Because you took that from me like you took my childhood from me. My ability to have a father away from me. So I took the same thing away from you. But I'm not done taking things away from you, Daddy. This doesn't end until you are retired." 71, rated show, fine. What matters more is what you thought of Raw. There was a 9 rated main event of Raw, so that was better. So yeah, but do let me know what you thought of the show in the comments below, what you thought of the show. And I'll see you next time for the first shows of July, which I believe, actually, I will be going over the mid-year awards as well, because they come up on the 1st of July. So look forward to that. That'll probably be at the start of Raw. See you then.